And you will see, if you are unable to answer it, it's the reason why you're not living your purpose. Well, damn, that seems harsh. You see, the question that I ask, and I've asked the question to many, and at first, money comes up as a common answer. Health, the standard go-to stuff. The stuff that we answer as things that we see in our everyday life as survival. And the question that I'm about to ask is something that goes beyond what you can even logically think about. I mean, even sometimes our dreams are limited by reality or what we've seen. But it only takes one person to do something magnificent. And then others can perpetuate that. The guy that broke the mile time, and for years it hadn't been broken, as soon as he broke it, all of a sudden different people were breaking that record. Because now it became in their consciousness that it was possible, and we as human beings forget that we are created. We are love, we are energy, we are spirit. If you use those that are all just straight scientific, you might want to sign off. Because I believe that there's a power greater than me, filling me with wisdom, filling me with light, encompassing me in and around with love. Now, when you attempt to answer this question, I implore you, you've heard the saying, think outside of the box. Well, whatever room you're sitting in and the box is in front of you, I want you to imagine a huge room. And that huge room is in a ginormous building. And that ginormous building is a motherfucking big ass arena. Now, think outside that. Now I ask you this question. Remember, your first instinct is going to go to those survival things, what you know. Now when you answer this question, and the answer may not come right away, you are going to have the answer to the question you've been asking for such a long time, and that is, what is my purpose? Now let me warn you. I believe, this is just downloading right now, I believe that we have ever-changing purposes throughout our walk on this planet. When I was 5, my purpose may have been just to be precious in the sight of my parents. Maybe that's all my purpose was. Maybe at 15, my purpose was, even though being called a nerd, showing that you didn't have to go with the crowd. And so on and so forth. And so when we are striving for trying to figure out what is my purpose, when you answer this question, you're going to see that the answer could be completely different 10, 15 years from now. And that's what's got me believing that I don't just have one purpose, but I've already lived several of my purposes, and I have fulfilled them well, some not even knowing how great an impact I've had, you see. And so when you answer this question, it's really going to set in. I'm hoping. Then again, maybe it's not meant for anyone to get, and maybe I'm just maybe this is just for me, but I don't think so. When you answer the question, you're going to know that it's already happening now this is going to go woo-woo. You ever heard of, not virtual reality, like people have doppelgangers. So at any one time, there's different realities being lived. And so I'm almost picturing when you answer this question, well, you know what? Let me just go ahead and answer the question. And then once you've answered it or think you've answered it, well, wait, let me throw this in. When you get the answer to this question, I want you to think long and hard about your life right now. And those things that you're going to answer, I want you to see if you've got doppelgangers, not people, but situations, object, whatever, similar situations, similar doppelgangers happening. Not exactly the answer to how you're going to answer the question, but a version. Maybe I'm thinking a version of it. And I know you may not understand what the hell I'm talking about right now, but you're going to get it. And it's going to hit like a light bulb getting struck by lightning. And here's the question. If you had your health, abundant wealth, loved ones, friends, family, what would you do every day that you love? Remember I said, you're thinking outside the box. You're not talking about going on a trip. You're not talking about buying a fancy car. You have all that. You've gone on all the trips. You've done everything that money can get you. You have love and you have happiness. You don't want for anything. But I shouldn't say you don't want for anything. You don't have a desire except for, I get up in the morning and I love to, by the time the afternoon comes, I am. In the evening, I love I wake up in the morning, or maybe I wake up in the evening. When I live every day, I'm doing what I love. And that is. You see, there's various ways that this question can be posed, but what I want you to understand, when you can answer the question, your new normal, everything's how you've desired it. You've dreamed. But what would you actually do every day that you love to do that would make your heart sing? All of the survival or human urges, none of that. You've got fulfillment in those areas, but per action, per being, your essence, what would you love to do? Once you answer that, now I want you to take that answer and really, without any emotion, almost like you're a scientist trying to dissect a puzzle. That doesn't make sense. But you're putting on your analytical cap, even if you're not analytical. You're looking at this answer that you have. And then side by side, you're looking at your life right now. Is there any version, even in the slightest sense, a little glimmer of light, a version of what your answer was in your current life. Now I'm going to quickly wind this up and I'm going to give you an example. My huge dream, which I have no way of knowing how it will come to fruition, but when I think about it, I've had moments where it's been like very spiritual. I know this is what I'm to do. Open cages, sanctuaries all over the planet. And on these sanctuaries are homes where people who are taking care of the animals are living. So they have their job, but they're doing what they love, which is working with animals, but also kids that need home, orphanage. It's a place where kids frolic. They're with the animals. And there's elderly people. Now, I don't know if they're driven in from the senior citizen homes. I don't know. But it's a place where the young, the animals, the elderly, and those in between that are serving, everyone is getting something, unconditional love. I also want to make all animal shelters financially self-sufficient. Volunteering is great, but what happens when the volunteers can't make it in? Or things happen in their lives and they can't go back? What happened when the pandemic came? And so I think about what I want to do for animals. On a more reachable thing, just simple, I love to write, and I aspire to be, have books with deep stuff, but watered down to 4th grade level so that they're in the schools, but also, people that don't like to read stuff other than fiction, well, they grab the books and they get wisdom, real quick nuggets that change their life. I want to speak. I want to bring people to tears. I want their heart to sing. I want them to feel like they want to just conquer everything. Be victorious. A warrior. I want to inspire. And so then I do the side by side. Because I also desire to, I would say I want to do what I love for a living. So now I look at my life. And I realized, as Tessa, my dog, Tweedle, my cat, Nala, the new kitten, as I walked through the room and they all were looking at me at the same time. I do talk to my animals, by the way. I'm the animal whisperer. No. But I'm surrounded by them. I'm taking care of Tessa. I'm running out there every day. It's part of the routine. The turmeric and coconut salve, coconut oil. And I make that, and then I'm brushing the kitten, and then I'm trying to love on the other. I'm just surrounded. And that being around animals. Now, of course, I'm at work all day, so it's when I get home. But there's a version of it, smaller scale. And I've written 3 books already. So I have written books. Now, they're not on the popularity list. I don't even know if my first one was even read. The second one I know a couple did. Who cares? I got what was inside of me out. Side note, I think a lot of times we get really confused about what our purpose is because we are competing and we are comparing to what is out there, which we think is what we want. But usually it's not. And so I'm still looking at the side by side and I say, I work a job that I hate. However, I come home and I feel like I've entered a vacation. When I think of my home as vacation, I love the peace and quiet. I love the energy that I've set in here. And of course, it's not all day because I'm at work. But that work provides the money that allows me to have this peace that I call my home. Money to pay for the animals that I so love. And so I'm still doing this side by side because, I'm always complaining about how much I hate my job and how much I want to do what I want for a living and do what I love for a living. And how can I be doing that when I have a job that I hate all day? But do you see the little bit of the version? Kind of in a twisted way, but when I come home in the evenings, I don't bring work home. I work on my coaching, my speaking, my writing, the things that I enjoy. I even at one point imagined, I love Asian decor, meeting every day with a team and working on solving these problems of the world. A team of deep thinkers. I've been in a mastermind for 1.5 years with amazingly, especially NLP next level, big thinkers. And when I say a team, it's greater than that. The friendships that I've made, people that I haven't even met because it's all been virtual. But all across this planet, I now have bonds with other human beings, connections. So much so that I could fly to wherever they are and immediately feel like I'm home. That's awesome. It's that team sitting around a table. It's a version of it, you see. And so I gave you those examples so that you can see you're living your purpose all the time. It's just the version changes here and there. And if we can grab a hold of that concept, can you see how the frustration, the fatigue, the mental anguish, you might even be in a situation where you feel like it's hell right now, but you're fulfilling a purpose because you don't know someone's watching you that's learning from how you, even though you feel like you're going through hell, you're handling with grace. You see? Even in the rough times, you're fulfilling your purpose. And so, whether good or bad time, whether a base or a bound, when you're understanding that, you're always fulfilling a purpose, that illusory question of what is my purpose is answered. Yes, you can keep dreaming. Yes, you can keep imagining those other versions. But I guarantee when you get to that version, there'll be another one calling you. I've had a realization, a paradigm shift. Light bulb struck by lightning. I'm no longer going to ask, what is my purpose? I'm going to look for, right now, what purpose am I fulfilling? Doesn't that make life more exciting? Isn't there curiosity? I'm already living my purpose. I wonder what version it is right now. I wonder what channel I'm going to turn to and see. That's probably old-fashioned. What live stream am I going to put on? What am I going to watch? What show am I going to pick? What's the episode going to be in the series? What if you saw your life as a beautiful display of you living out various versions of your essence? I'm going to leave you with a picture. Have you ever seen a kaleidoscope? You know, when you were little, they had a little toy, and you put the thing up to your eye, and you look through it, and it's these shapes, colors, beautiful. But there's so many versions, but they're coming together to just make one beautiful image.